Here I am at home, really happy that you're here. I'm about to share my screen with you and show you the agenda, and I'll be doing a little bit of talking, and then I'm going to hand it over to Pat Hutchings, and here should come the agenda. Okay, Pat, you can see the agenda, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So here we are, Susan Albertine, Pat Hutchings, Nina Namaste, and we wanted to take an opportunity to use a new technology to experiment with a way we can share and collaborate on faculty professional development at a larger scale. That's the plan here. This event is actually co-sponsored by NILOA and AAC&U, and it's part of two big projects I've been working on. Many of you know about the Leap States collaboration, and some of you know about the Faculty Collaboratives Project. The idea for this event really came out of both of them. The one thing I'll say about faculty collaboratives is that we're trying to use it to build an infrastructure for collaboration for learning outcomes and assessment in the Leap States. That's what it is. It's just a chance to figure out how we can do large-scale collaboration, help people go for engaged learning. So we thought, well, we should try out some new ideas for meetings where we don't have to make everybody fly someplace, or we don't have to wait for one of the AAC&U events to happen. And Pat and I have some time on our hands, and we thought, why don't we try working with an assignment in the assignment library? So we'll get to that, but before we do, and you can probably see my cursor moving around here, I'd like to ask you to think about something and reflect, and you can come back later when we share ideas. I'd like you to think about ideas for online venues and topics. We've tried out Twitter chats. This is a Zoom meeting. I know that in Kentucky they use a program called Slack. Some people really like Periscope presentations, and we haven't tried those yet, although I know somebody, I think, who's coming to this meeting today who's really expert at Periscope. We've done webinars, but they tend to be more presentational, and we wanted to make something more interactive. So the Google Hangout, many of you know about. The Zoom meeting is really like Google, and I can see Armida is putting her hands up saying she likes Google Hangouts. I love it when if you're on video and you like an idea, you can do thumbs up. That's great. We may be able to try out the new Skype for Business, but you may also have an idea of another online venue that we might be able to use in the future. So just put that in your head and think about it. If you have any recommendations, we can talk about those later. We'll have time at the end. And then as for topics, this is another big kind of fun one. As I mentioned, the Faculty Collaboratives it's a big project in a number of Leap States. We've actually got faculty collaboratives underway in 10 of the 12 Leap States right now, and we're building an infrastructure to collaborate. And so some of the things that we've been working on, the big projects that we're working on in the faculty collaboratives, have suggested some topics that we might want to roll up to a sort of national level, share out with people, and make it possible for you to go back into your world, whether it's a state level or a campus level, and do it yourself. And that's part of it too. We envision this as a sort of higher level experiment in professional development that will allow you to go and share with other people. And in fact, Pat is going to introduce you later to a toolkit that NILOA has published that really will help you with do-it-yourself work, similar to what we're doing here. So just a few ideas for topics. I mean, I could set these Zoom events up easily and open them up to 50 or so people and see who comes. I'd like you to think about topics that you might like to request. I'm really happy to do it. It's one of the fun things about being a senior scholar. We've got assignments and signature work. Well, we're doing the first one of those. We could do another. We could do number 2. We could pick high impact practices, a particular practice that people wanted to work on. We could do anything on assessment that you're interested in. And the nice thing is we try to make this a collaboration between AAC&U and NILOA on that. We could do something on course design. We could do something with specific value rubrics. I know there are a lot of really interesting ideas that people have about value rubrics, and maybe inventing new ones and sharing some of the new ones and talking about it. We could actually do a syllabus exchange. We could try out one of Pat's charrettes. We could actually do that, and those are my ideas. So I'm inviting you to think about others, and at the end of the time together, you can either put them in the chat box or put your hand up and tell me what you think, or we can you can email me. We can do that. So that's my introduction. And so what I'm going to do now is to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to make Pat Hutchings the co-host, and Pat is going to introduce the assignment library, and then we'll go on and work on a real assignment. So I'm going to stop my screen share. And Pat, let me find you. I can't find you. Participants. Oh, there they are. I got to scroll. Somehow you moved down. There you are, Pat. Okay, you're about to be co-host. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, you got it.
All right, thank you. I'll just say thank you, Susan, for making this a collaborative venture with NILOA. I did notice a couple chats, I guess, while you were talking, Susan. One from Deborah David about a topic of equity-mindedness, and one from John Savagian, which I couldn't see the whole phrase, but something about pedagogy adjusting to something. So we'll come back to those at the end of the session, I believe is the plan.
Yep.
But just to note that those, we see those. So, all right, well, I am about to share my screen and take you to the NILOA assignment library. And just bear with me here. It looks like that's up.
Yes, you got it.
Good. Good. So you can just scan your eye around what you're seeing there if you want to, but I want to just step back a moment and say a little bit for those of you who aren't familiar with this, and I don't want to assume that people are, about where this came from and why. So the assignment library is really an outgrowth of NILOA's role over the last, almost 5 years now, I guess, tracking campus engagement with the degree qualifications profile. And one of the things we noticed in doing that is that there were a fair number of campuses, quite a few in California, since we have a California contingent, I'll highlight that, who had begun, or which had begun, designing or redesigning assignments to align them more intentionally with DQP outcomes or with DQP-like outcomes, including and especially the LEAP essential learning outcomes. I know Peter Ewell is online, and his paper written early on in this process in our work with the DQP called the Lumina DQ Degree Qualifications Profile Implications for Assessment really sort of set the conceptual frame for this interest in assignments, among other things. But some of you may know that paper, and thank you, Peter, for that. So NILOA wanted to tap into this work on campuses, both to learn from it and to support it. And with that in mind, we began an initiative which brings faculty together for a day-long charrette as we call them. That's a term borrowed from architecture education. And there are quite a number of people on this event, I don't know what to call it, on this event, who have been participants in the charrettes, and a couple who've been facilitators. Faculty have come together. We've done 4 of these now, where they have reviewed one another's assignments. Everybody brings a draft assignment. They get feedback from their colleagues, including in writing. They return home, make revisions as needed, try out the assignment with students and so forth, and then submit the assignment back to NILOA, at which point it's posted on the assignment library, which is what you see then in front of you. The library currently has about 60 entries, and we expect it to grow over the next few months by another 30 or so. So let me walk through what we've got here. Hoping this is all live.
It is. It looks good.
Okay. Good. So if you go to the navigation bar at the top, you see there are a number of choices, and we're going to look at resources in a bit. Peter's paper that I mentioned is there, by the way. But most of the point here, I want to go to the Assignments tab, and you'll see 2 choices there. I'm going to come back to Browse. Submit, this is important, takes you to all of the materials you need, the process you need to submit an assignment of your own. So I was just describing the process by which people who've attended the charrettes get their assignments into the library, but we're very eager to have additional submissions, and you can submit online. It'll go through a sort of modified peer review process. That is to say, we'll show it to some other people and get you some feedback, and then, you know, as it comes to fruition, post it on the library. So I'm really eager to have more submissions come in through our online process. Now, if we go to Browse, it takes you to the collection of assignments. And so I'm just going to kind of walk through this with you. So you see a list of tags.
I think Pat froze. Yep, I think Pat froze. And if she doesn't, what do I say, thaw in a second, we will turn it over to Nina to work with hers. This is the technology, the interesting thing about the technology. Oh, I don't know. Did Pat unfreeze? Up? We lost her. I bet she's going to come in.
This is Peter. I've been working with Pat on this, and maybe could try, even though the screen's not up, could fill in a little bit
okay.
On some of this. Yeah, the assignment library has these keywords, and keyword tags are multiple keyword tags are assigned to different assignments, so that you can see them by discipline, you can see them by type, you can see them by various other kinds of things. I should also mention that this documentation is only a small portion, really, of what's out there, because we found that one of the really popular things to do is for a campus to do this themselves. In fact, some states have done it. Indiana did it, and Ken Sauer hosted a charrette about a year ago, 18 months ago, something like that. And it was great to get local buy-in and to really get this going. So we really don't know how much is out there. And if those of you who have participated in these can keep us informed, that would be great. I think, I don't know what more Pat was going to say about this. The library has these tags. All of them are documented, I think, pretty well. One of the real, I think, core values of this project is that we believe that faculty assignment creation is genuine intellectual work. It really is something that it should be attributed. It should be cited properly. It's undervalued, and we're trying to get it to be more valued because it's a key portion of teaching and learning. And the primary